Start all. All right, fantastic. That was super easy. I am so excited to have everyone here. I'm going to fix my microphone, so hopefully everyone can hear me really, really well. Let me fix this because I have never been able to get the cabling quite right so that it's not a total and utter pain in the backside. So let me fix this real quick. There we go. And here we have it. So I'm gonna, got my light. I've got, close that down so I can see. I'm streaming to Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. And so this is gonna be a little bit new ground for me actually talking to you while I'm, yeah, 2 platforms same time. So the question on my Instagram today was, can I make a whole soft sculpture doll all in one go? And I think I can. And the reason why I say I think I can, ooh, I'm gonna need my thread. The reason why I say I think I can is because I have made one of these before in the past, in the distant past, in a galaxy long, long ago, far, far away. Well, actually not all that far away, maybe about 40 miles away. But I'm just emptying my backpack here with some random stuff that I needed to bring out to the studio. Oh, there's my lipstick. I got a new lipstick today in the mail from Besame. Oh, let's see. Oh, there it is. There's a stand. All right. So I've been kind of on a little bit of a kick lately. And I'll talk about some of the fun stuff that I've acquired recently. I will talk about it at a later date. I got my station membership cards today. I am so excited. I hadn't planned on showing you these because these are for my station members who sign up through Patreon or directly with me. But it's the Daydream Frequency station member card. Let's see, oh, there we go. That works really, really well. So anyone who signs up and pledges support monthly is going to get a physical one of these mailed to them. I will handwrite your name and your member number on the front because I believe in tangible things, not just digital. And I think that's part of the reason why I do what I do and why I love what I do so much. So the question on my Instagram, back to that. Can we make an entire soft sculpture doll in one go? And like I said, I think I can. And I'm just going to double check my comments. I don't see any comments on YouTube. I'm going to check over on Twitch. I do not see any there. I'm going to just split my screen real quick so that I can see everybody. Ooh, close the chat. Can we? Y'all, what is going on? How do I make the chat box go away? I don't want to see the chat. Close the chat? Pop out the chat? There we go. I don't know. I don't care about the chat. All right. There's nobody in the chat, so I really don't care right now. Anyway, back to squirrel. So a long, long time ago, I actually made one of these. And if you are of a certain age, you remember the dolls that resembled fresh produce. And they had a Make It Yourself edition that was a totally different company, and it was called The Original Doll Baby. So I had an entire produce department full of these other dolls, but I love making things as a kid, and so I wanted to make one when I was a kid, and I did. They had the kit. You got that, you got your pick of your heads, and you got a body sold separately, some assembly required, as everything was back in the day. And so I got The doll head recently, oh my gosh, probably about a year and a half ago in a thrift store. And I saw it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get one of these, right? Like, such a trip down memory lane. And then I was like, well, I mean, I've got the head, but now I guess I can make the body from scratch, because you used to be able to buy the fabric and there was a sewing pattern and you could cut it out and sew it together, but they had these pre-made ones. And lo and behold, I was able to get on ye interwebs and order the kit for the body. And this one says copyright 1984. Copyright 1984. And the paper, here, I'll take it out of the plastic. I am pretty sure that this is a vintage pattern, not a reproduction, like they didn't keep making them. So this says it's supposed to come with everything you need. I thought I remembered it coming with, okay, where's the head of this thing? Where's the head? Right, what in the who's it now? Okay, the bum is where you stuff it. Okay, so how are we supposed to put the head on here? Oh, I see. Oh, see, I don't remember doing this. This is where they talk about 2-inch neck slot and shoulder fold. I'm gonna be so for real right now. I don't see a neck slot in here. I wonder, preparing the neck slot. Oh, fold the body in half, matching the hand ends. Measure 1 inch from the fold you just made. Unfold the body. You should have 2 inches between the two marks. Carefully slit on the top of the shoulder fold only. Okay, so my recollection of this when I was a little girl and I made one of these before, my dad gave me a zip tie. And my recollection was that there was a, what do you call it, a casing that was just enough to slide your zip tie through, and then you put this through the hole and did the zip tie, and Bob's your uncle, you've got it all. So we're just gonna, oh my gosh, this box has seen absolute better days. It was, I paid $9.99 at Goodwill for it. Oh wow. Said it was received in 2021. And I know that, oh, dusty. Ugh. I know that I didn't buy it in 2021. I bought it shortly after that, because this channel's been going since 2020. Okay, that's enough. That is enough. But I think I did get it for 50% off. However, and Crafts Plus, it originally sold for $6.98. So, and this one says also copyright in 1984. Made in Hong Kong. So what we have is the doll baby, the doll baby head, because she's an official doll baby. We have a doll baby body that needs to be stuffed. That's what came in the box. We have instructions, and we have the original doll baby brochure here. When we open it up, it says, oh, it's got the doll baby story and a birth announcement, a certificate of authenticity, a hello, my name is tag, and care instructions all on the inside. Look at that. So let's just take a moment here and get to know the doll baby story. The Doll Baby Story. Kentucky native Martha Nelson Thomas is the creator of the original Doll Baby, TM. She began making dolls as a child and says, "That's the way I played. I'd make the dolls and my sisters would play with them." Her mother, a seamstress, taught her to sew, and her 3 sisters and 4 brothers provided her with a deep understanding of the importance of fantasy in the minds of children. Pursuing a career in art, Martha enrolled in the Louisville School of Art. During her senior year there, Martha created her first life-size painted doll. From that first soft sculpture doll, Martha began developing what is now known as her Doll Baby, TM. Various features of her Doll Baby, TM, have been developed over the years. Martha comments, "When I hit upon a nose that I liked, I stayed with it, and when the toes developed, I kept them." Martha's philosophy about dolls is simple. They are meant to be loved, cuddled, slept with, and most of all, played with. She feels that too often we seem to forget that it is the child who gives life to the doll and not the reverse. Doll babies create priceless childhood memories with their unique charm. Created with love, a Doll Baby, TM, makes a very special addition to your family. Martha Nelson Thomas Doll Baby, TM, is the original. There is no other. I do recall back in the day with the produce children that there was a slight bit of a kerfuffle. And there was some shenaniganery afoot. We don't know. I really don't know. And honestly, I just liked the dolls. Didn't care which ones they were. I just liked them. And I like making clothes for them, which is how I ended up making more dolls to go with the clothes that I made. So we have instructions, head, body. I bought some hand quilting thread. It's a poly cotton blend. It should be good enough for this because I went into the craft store completely unprepared without the instruction sheet, which would have told me, general supplies. Oh, here we go. Glue, ruler or tape measure, scissors, T-pin, thimble, water erasable marking pen. Special supplies to complete your Doll Baby, TM. You'll need the following supplies: the pre-sewn Doll Baby body in this package, 1 4-inch molded Doll Baby, TM, head, approximately 16 ounces of washable, non-matting, good quality fiber fill. I'm sitting on it. Fiber fill. 1 2-inch ballpoint sewing needle or a blunt darning needle. I purchased doll sewing needles. You really should use a ballpoint needle so your fabric won't run or snag, even though it isn't supposed to. And I will tell you this, I remember the one that I made as a little girl, I did snag the fabric. Because jersey fabric, which is what this is made of, actually does best with a jersey needle or a ballpoint. This needle needs to be long, thin, and reasonably strong because there's a lot of tugging and pulling involved in the creation of your Doll Baby, TM. No comment. Flesh-colored polyester sewing thread. There we go. See, I would have put that in the general supplies rather than the special supplies because I would think that it's fabric and it needs thread, but okay. Ballpoint pins. I don't use pins. Not sorry. Martha's helpful hints. Martha has given us some hints on how to create beautiful doll babies. Little hearts mark the beginning and end of each of Martha's helpful hints. Isn't that sweet? So here we are. Do I have scissors? Somewhere over there. I've got my thread. I have my needle. I have my head, paper, body, and fiber fill. So let's begin, shall we? All right, it's telling us how to hand baste, how to whip stitch, back stitch, and secure the ends of hand sewing. I will not bore you with all of that because this is not a tutorial, this is a craft along with me. Instructions for completing your doll baby TM. And here's one of Martha's helpful hints. When you are stuffing your baby, please remember it should be stuffed firmly and fully so it looks well fed. Legs are attached to the front of the body. Stuff legs with fiberfill up to the tucks. The tucks. That would be these. So that each leg measures 7 1/4 inches around. This is why they want us to have a tape measure. Now, I must have like a blue million tape measures that are the skinny kind, and the reason why I want a skinny one, and I can't find my soft one that I've had for forever, is because I have this lovely young lady who I'm going to be sewing for, and as you can see, her waist is not super, let me just put her in the stand here. Her waist is not super wide, like that bit. So, in order to be able to have the measuring tape go around her waist so that I can actually get her measurements accurately, because these clients are really hard to sew for if you can't get accurate measurements. So I went and bought another one of these. I wish I could say R.I.P. Joann's. I wish I could, honestly, because what we're left with is not all that great. But here we go. We have a narrow measuring tape. See? We've got metric on one side. I do my dolls with metric because it's so much easier. Hello! And then inches on the other. So we have that. And I am going to put Miss Ma'am over here. Oh, somebody is in my Discord. Let's find out who it is. Oh, I've got messages in Discord. Is it the family group chat? Nah. Not interested. It's cat information. Anyway, back to what we were doing. So I have my measuring tape so that we can measure to make sure that the legs of the doll baby are nice and full. Now it says we are to, step 1 is the legs, and then, see, this is what I don't understand. Why wouldn't we prepare the neck slot first before moving on to the legs? But I'm not asking questions. We're going to do this exactly in the order listed. Legs, then prepare the neck slot. So, onward and upward, we have fiberfill. I was surprised that it wasn't more expensive than it was. Let's see, is there a pokey thing in here that you can use to shove the... Back when I was a kid, these used to come with a single solitary chopstick so that you could shove the fiberfill into the... all the way into the nooks and crannies. But I've got other stuff that I can use. I got pencils and whatnot. All right, that's not the leg. This is the leg. All right. So we're going to take our fluff and stuff. Gosh, this is sending me right back to my childhood. All right, let's see. And I do remember that these needed to be really nice and full because this is where you're going to stitch and sculpt out the toes. So we're going to get that in there. Oh, there's a lot of measuring here. Mark below each ear. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm trying to read ahead. Mark the inside of the head at the pen with water erasable pen. Remove the T-pin and apply a layer of glue. I don't have fabric glue. I have E6000. I have Gorilla Glue. I've got nail glue. But I don't... Okay, so I know this is really, like, there's schools of thought on adhesives in sewing and crafting. I do ballroom costumes, and I have done a lot, and pageant dresses, and I have done a lot of rhinestoning. And some people are like, oh, I only use the one that looks like PVA glue, but it really isn't PVA glue. That's like a watery liquid that's kind of white colored. All right, so look, we have a nice little chubby leg. And let's see, it's supposed to be 7 1/4 inches. All right, so that's 7 1/4. Let us see. Are we 7 1/4 inches? Holy mother of cellulite. We are not even 7 1/4 inches. We are 6 3/4 inches. So it looks like my doll baby's a little bit malnourished. Let's keep going. Grab some more polyfill. All right. So I am a huge proponent of E6000 or the Gorilla Glue that's the equivalent of it. Just because that stuff doesn't come off. Your rhinestones are staying put. Okay, get in the hole. Ugh. Yeah. All right, these are chunky little legs. Chunky. Right, let's get down in there. See, this is why I wanted the chopstick to be able to, like, force it down in. All right. Get that in there. And we are doing this all in real time. There is no time lapse, no nothing. And the only reason I don't have a top-down camera right now to show you what I'm doing on my desk, and I have to hold it up and show you, is because my phone that I use as a backup camera, and not as in a backup camera from my car, but as in my camera that backs up my shooting rig. It's a spare phone that I've had for years. It decided it wanted to do an update right as I was about to start streaming. All right, so here we go. One chunky leg. One tape measure. Let's see, can we get to 7 1/4 inches? Oh, now we done overdid it. Now we're at 8 inches. Now we've got to have a little bit of a reduction here. All right, let's see. That was a little much. Let's see, can we, let's see. Well, now we're just looking like we've had bad lipo. All right. There we go. Let's see what the measurement gets us now that I've done a little bit of reduction there. All right, we've got from 0 to, all right, we're at 7 3/4. All right, this is definitely, okay, we're going to take that out. Took that big hunk out. Put this piece in and kind of shove it down the back. I think. Kind of fill in. Looking a little bit lumpy, bumpy, like we got cankles here. All right, try again. All right. No. Okay, so this, all right. Let's start over, shall we? I think maybe I got it packed a little bit too hard in there. And go with, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the bottom. And if I can get the bottom to 7 1/4 down around here, then I can just fill in off the top. All right, so we are up to 7 1/4. Looky there. 7 1/4. That's the money shot. So now I just need to put a little bit left in the top here because it only needs to come up just, oh, well maybe Yeah, we'll just take a little bit. Because look at all of this. Yeah, I think I overdid it. Just all right, I was a little overzealous. All right, so then we put this in here. We are good. And I don't have pins because I don't really use pins. I'm not a fan of pins. I use, in my regular sewing, I use Wonder Clips. I just like them better. The only thing I use pins for, honestly, is my embroidery machine, because I float things on my hoops. I don't hoop around the fabric because I find that it leaves indentations. All right. Yeah, we got a little ways to go. And so pinning the top, pinning the thing to be embroidered to the stabilizer, it's known as floating, it actually works best for my application. So, see, I don't have anybody's into chats, but that's okay. I'm going to take as soon as I get this in here, I'm going to just quickly share these on my Facebook so that people can drop by and see what's going on. All right, let's see. Yeah, I feel like this is the one that measured correctly. This one's the one that's a little bit anemic. We just need a little smidgen. Just a smidgen. Oh! I got it. They still put it in there. All right, is it a wooden chopstick? What is it? Polyfill stuffing tool at the heart of your project. Fairfield unconditionally guaranteed. The original Polyfill. It is literally a chopstick. So now, there. And they give you one in every bag of Polyfill. Turn the body inside out. Oh, I see what they mean. All right. So I gather that we do the legs, make a hole for the neck, then do the arms so that all of those are ready to go. Oh, and we're supposed to hand baste the arms closed also. That's kind of one of the next steps as we go. So let's put this in here. Give you a little bit of zhuzh up in there. All right, let's measure and see. I can just look at these and go, these do not look at all the same. Hello, camera. Are you still on? I wonder. Yep, I can still see myself on my stream. So I just can't see myself in my little bitty monitor. So these do not look at all the same, but we will go ahead and, this one just looks lumpy, bumpy mess. All right. Let's measure this. 7. No. You're at 6 and 6.5. 6.5. Yeah, we still need about 3/4 of an inch more stuffing in there. And then once I've got the leg stuffed, then we will take a brief pause for me to jump on over to my Facebook and tell all my friends and family, look, I'm on TV, Ma. All right, so let's use our little thing here. This will help move that down in there. And we'll do the same thing that I did before and get this as close to 7 1/4 as we can before adding more. So let's try that. All right. We are at 7 even. All right, let's keep going. Smush, smush. All right, let's see. Nice and firm. Not quite. And still at 7 inches. How are we not getting up to 7 1/4? Ah, here we go. Let's see what we get now. We are at, I feel like I'm being gaslit by this doll, because every time I put a little more stuffing in, it doesn't, the needle moves nothing in the girth of the leg. So let's do this. All right, let's see. Come on, leg. All right. I'm gonna call it close enough. I don't know if you can see it. 7 1/4. All right, but we still need just a weensy bit up in the top. So I'm gonna grab just a teeniest little bit, and then do. There we go. That much, and put it in the top, and just call her a day. All right, let me come over here, and I am going to share, copy that link, drop it into my Facebook. Let's see what's on my mind. Oh, that's all caps. We do not do all caps because I am not that old. Come craft an entire doll with me over on YouTube. Link in comments. Because, you know, oh, here, I'm going to go over to my Instagram. There we go. Now I gotta come over to Instagram. Go to my posts. Down here. 2 comments from Facebook. Oh, how sweet. Alright. Open link in new tab. Then I can do this. Or pick print screen. Because I am doing this the absolute, oh yeah, I can do it there because it's in my screenshots. Pictures, screenshots. I don't know how this works. 2026. Oh, okay. This new Windows thing is weird. Alright, so then I've got that, and then I gotta come back over here, grab my YouTube link from my stream, back over here to this window, post. This whole social media thing, like multi-platforming, is it's a process. All right, there's my live link. Pardon me. Good posting. Just make sure that goes. Yippee doodle. There we go. All right, come back over here so I can see my Twitch. No comments so far, not a problem. No that, and no comments over there. All right, fantabulous. So now we have got legs. With apologies to ZZ Top, this doll does not know how to use their legs. Ah, here we go. Instructions. We are now up to number 2. Preparing the next slot. Right there. And it's got a little picture there. What is going on? Is that my front door? Let's see. On my phone. Nothing important. Alright, so now we are going to fold the body in half, matching the hand ends. Come along now. This is the front. Alright. Hand ends. So. And then we shall measure 1 inch from the fold. Okay, 1 inch. That's you. I'll just use my pencil there. And there. All right. Then unfold the body. You should have 2 inches. Plus minus. What does that say? That is 1 3/4 inches. All right, that is not 2 inches. Let us do this again, shall we? Match the little things. Done. Put this down here on the table so that I can see, because you're really never supposed to do any kind of this. Oh, I see what happened. You're not supposed to measure or cut up in the air because it's not, oh, what's the word for it? Yeah, you know. All right, now that I moved my little mark over, it is now sitting at 2 inches exactly. Very good. All right. You should have 2 inches between the 2 marks. Carefully slit along the top of the shoulder fold only. Only between the 2 marks. And I do not have any sewing scissors whatsoever at my desk. I have paper scissors. Not using paper scissors. Pardon me. While I pop out of my seat, grab some scissors and the glue, because we're going to need that too. So you will still hear my voice as I rattle around the studio. Ouch, that was even better. Lovely. All right, where's my scissors? Here's my good scissors. All right, where's the glue? Oh, the glue is down in. Where is the glue? Let's get to the glue. It's down here. Ah, there we go. All right. Now then. Greetings, I am back. Scissors. Glue. All right. So now we are to slit the neck between those 2 marks. Along that fold line is what I am going to do. And these scissors are insanely sharp. They are Kai scissors, and I really, really like them. I'm a super fan of Gingers, and I have Ginger spring-loaded ones that I spent an ungodly amount of money on years and years ago. And they are excellent scissors. And when my hand is acting up, when this hand is acting up, they are really great. But the Kai scissors, oh my goodness, they are amazing. All right, so now we have the neck hole. Measure 2 1/4 inches from each end of the neck slot and mark with a pin. Really? 2 1/4 inches. All right, so 2 1/4 inches from the neck slot. Okay. That's literally where this little fold line that you can't really see, but there's this fold line right there. That's where we're going to fill to. And I'm going to guess, I'm not going to guess, I'm going to measure, but I'm going to assume or suppose, yes, I would be right, that fold is the same on both sides. So we shall stuff the arms all the way to there, and I'm going to put a little pencil mark right there, because a little bit of graphite never hurt anybody. Unless you get a pencil stabbed through your hand, and then it really does hurt. That's not fun. All right, so now we have done that. Okay. Stuff the arms with fiberfill so that each arm measures 6 inches around. Beginning at the center of the underarm curves, that would be there. Hand baste each arm closed, working at an angle toward the pin, or in my case, the little pencil mark that you can barely see. That's this angle right there. And then remove pins. And since I'm not using pins, we're golden. So, shall we begin? I'm just going to grab a wadded this said you needed about 16 ounces of this stuff. I got 20 because I wasn't sure, because I was totally, completely unprepared at the craft store. And just bought the one that was 20 ounces. Riddle me, the 20-ounce bag was $6.98 and the 16-ounce bag was $7.98. Riddle me that. Like, what even is that? And I had a coupon anyway, but I figured, well, what's a little extra polyfill when, you know, you have other projects you're going to do. Anyway, so fun story about this project. As I was telling you earlier, I'm going to move this box out of the way now. As I was saying earlier, I acquired this project a couple of 3 years ago. And the doll baby instruction packet and body had been, like, the top was open when I got it. It was a pre-owned, I believe. Just never used. And so I didn't want to lose it. I wanted it to be in a safe place. Because, you know, us ADHD people, we put our things in a safe place and then they are never seen it or heard from again. And so I put it away. And I have been racking my brains for a year trying to find this doll baby pattern. Like, the packet with the body in it. Because I knew where the head was. Like, the head was in its box, in a bin, in my studio, staring at me judgmentally, going, "Lady, where's my body?" Or, as my dad would say, when I was a kid, he'd walk around like this, "I ain't got no body." With apologies to Louis Prima, but couldn't find it for the life of me. And so here I am, minding my own business, looking for Barbie doll patterns, and actually not Barbie doll patterns. I'm looking for something a little bit bigger. I have a collection of vintage patterns. I have probably over 1,000. I have lost count how many patterns I have in my collection that I'm keeping. I have an entire box full of patterns that I am willing to sell. Quasi RIP Joann's. But I'm looking for vintage doll patterns, doll dress patterns that are going to fit a 16-inch fashion doll, like a Miss Revlon or what have you. And I'm pretty sure I have them. And so I'm going through the bin that I think they should be in. And this is one of those situations where you know you have to touch everything, right? Because if you don't pick them up, look at them, and then put them back, you will never be sure what you actually have. Now, about 3 weeks ago, I had been through that pattern drawer. I had looked at every pattern. I had touched every pattern. Or so I thought. And a lot of my patterns are in comic book sleeves with comic book backer boards because, you know, I want to preserve my vintage patterns. And so, and I pull out and I go, no way. There's no possible way. This is not, absolutely not, the doll baby body in an envelope with the instructions in my sewing patterns. And not even just my sewing patterns, my vintage sewing patterns, and perhaps the squirrels in my brain for once went vintage doll craft, vintage sewing, and thought that that was an appropriate place to put it. Now we're going for 6 inches here. That's a leg, that's a leg. Ah, there's a wing. All right. We are, oh! Say what now? That is 6.5 inches, but it doesn't look overfilled to me. That's the thing. She looks pretty. Maybe I'll just flatten it a little, unsquish. and get it to be about 6 inches. All right, let's try that again. Now it's 6 inches. Very good. See, now we're at 6 inches. And I've just got a teensy-weensy bit overstuffed. All right, so we're going to come. That was too much. All right, so now we're going to put this one down in here. Stuff her in. The only thing about these that I don't like with this fabric, is the fact that the wood is not, it's not like bamboo chopsticks that are very soft, or not soft, but they're very smooth on the outside so as not to give you splinters when you eat. These are just whatever garbage, cheap wood, not very well, not smooth. They're not finished well. Melamine chopsticks, on the other hand, or stainless steel ones, are actually really great in your craft room, because they're soft, smooth. They're not going to pick your fabric. They're not going to cause runs in your fabric. And the cool thing about like the stainless steel ones is if you heat them up, you can use them to curl fashion doll hair. Okay, that was really crunchy. All right, and that looks like, okay, that's almost right. So let's measure you. All right. Have you been working out? All right, let's just smush a little bit. All right, that's millimeters. We need inches because this one runs in inches. All right, close enough. Very good. So there we go. Now, we'll just put that aside. It says, hand-based each arm close working at an angle. And the weird thing is, it doesn't tell you to close up legs hand-based. Oh, we didn't do that. All right, be careful not to catch the bottom edge of the back of the body. All right. So now we're going to take a set of needles. Ideas me out. Okay. See, I have this embroidery needle, but it is absolutely the wrong needle for the job, because what I really need is a longer and thinner needle. So I'm going to use it to open the pack of needles. And I'll take the short one. There we go. See? They're almost the same size, but this one's just beefy and this one's much thinner. It does have a sharp point, but it's not going to be that big of a deal. So, let's do this. And then just... Come along now. There we go. And get me some... Alright, this is nice heavy-duty thread. It's not like denim thread, but you really don't want denim thread because that's too bulky. Alright. What did I do with my... Oh, there they are. Scissors. And then we're just going to baste the legs and the arms closed. Bring hand based. Pin specified edges together. Bring a needle in and out of the fabric along the stitching lines, making 1/8 inch stitches 1/8 inch apart. Yeah, so about that. I'm just going to do what I do. I mean, what I'm going to do is just poke that through and kind of see if I can show this to you up in the air. And then just kind of weave it in and out. Because this is a basting stitch. It's not a final stitch. It's not anything fancy. We're just going to go in, out, in, out, in, out. to the end. There we go. Done. It's just to hold the polyfill in. No big. And then I'll just tie it off. Do, do, do. What are you doing? What are you doing? There we go. And then we'll just trim that one. And then we'll do the same thing on the other leg. And we are zooming right along. I know that my Twitch stream is telling me that it's unstable. I don't know how to fix that. It is also telling me that I've been streaming for 50 minutes. So that's good to know. YouTube is telling me I've also been streaming for 50 minutes. So we're going to do this next one. Same bat time, same bat channel, right in, through, in, and then pull it down. Because the reality is all we are doing is closing that up so that none of the fiberfill, the polyfill, whatever stuffing you're using, none of it falls out. That's it. Because it's not pretty. It doesn't have to be. It won't be seen. Now, when we get down to the end of this, there's going to be a, oh yeah, feet and legs, and then, yeah, I remember doing all that, and the hands. I don't remember what it said to do about the arms, whether we take that off or not. Stuffing the body, hands and arms. I'm just going to read that real quick. Yeah, that's the sculpting part there. So I will take a little more care with the arm one, just because that is going to be seen, and it doesn't look like, I'm gonna turn my light up a little bit so I can see. There we go. This is going to be seen. Like this part, we do want it to look a little bit nicer. I am going to take my needle from the inside and go into that underarm curve business so that the knot is on the inside. Because I don't see anywhere where it says to take the basting stitches out. Now, I could be wrong. Stuff the body. Cut stuff, so stuff into the head so it won't squeeze into the head. Turn the bottom and loop stitch. Yeah, there is no there is absolutely no instruction anywhere to remove the basting from the arms. So I'm going to find the inside. There's the curve. There we go. And in through there. There we go. Pull that through. And then I'm just going to run a nice little basting stitch holding that flat right there. And I will actually, you know, make smaller, more delicate stitches. Just running stitches rather than back stitches, because it's technically a basting stitch. You don't have to do, it's not trying to construct anything, it's just trying to hold the stuffing in. So, do you have a favorite crafting or hobby that you partake of? That's it. That's the question. When I was a little girl, my hobbies included reading. I was a voracious reader, and I would get so many books at the library. I would walk to the circulation, to the checkout, and the lady at the checkout would be like, you know you only have 3 weeks to read those. And my pile of like 10 or 12 books, I said, oh, don't worry, I'll be back next week. And so, you know, some weeks I would read a bunch of books, and then others I would read fewer. Sometimes I'd read the same book over and over. Let's see. That's a little bit too far over, but you know what? I'm gonna roll with it, and then I can just... So there's the mark for my doll's shoulder, and I kind of did like this little curvy line. So I think I'm just going to curve it towards there, and then that'll be like a little more jointed, and then I can squish the stuffing to where I want it, and we'll just call that good. I don't like to let the perfect be the enemy of the good. This isn't a doll that I'm giving to someone else. This is a doll for myself. And it won't make me mad that it's not perfection, like according to the instructions. Unlike when I was little, where I would get very, very frustrated if things weren't perfection. I didn't understand that it took time to get good at things. I thought that you read about it and you did it. Like that was all there was. It's that simple. You read how to do it and then you just do it. And I think that was the biggest rude awakening for me. But I loved to read as a little girl. And so let me just push this through here, and I'm going to take this loose end and bring my needle out and just put the tail end inside the doll. There we go. Tie that off. So yeah, I used to love making stuff, and I would make things out of cardboard boxes, and I would make them out of paper, and I would make doll houses out of cardboard, and oh my goodness, just so many. See, I don't think that looks bad. I think that looks cute. And then when the head's on, it'll hang better. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Got my knot. I'm gonna go in the curve. I'm literally going right in there, in between the stitching. There we go. And then, oh, this stuffing is wanting to escape containment. All right, no containment breach. There. So yeah, I learned how to sew. I think my first projects I did with a needle and thread, I might have been around 4. I was a very precocious child, and I was already in elementary school at 4 years old. So, I mean, how many kids do you know get thrown out of preschool because they can already read, right? Like, I don't know. I think my poor parents had no clue what to do with a very precocious child. It was... I'm not going to say I was a problem child. I am going to say that I was a very challenging child for my parents. Because back in those days, they didn't know about ADHD, and they for sure didn't know what it looked like in a girl. And so the conventional wisdom, when you had a child who could already read and write, and refused to scribble on the paper, I think that's what got me in trouble at the Mother's Morning Out program when I was 3. They were like, just scribble on the paper. And I'm like, no. I'm going to color inside the lines. Why would I scribble on the paper? And You know, my mom always said, I hope you have a child just like you. And in a way, I kind of did. My youngest kid has caused multiple teachers to retire. I feel like that's the reality of the situation. The second grade parent-teacher conference, his beloved teacher, child has a lot to say. It's always on topic, but he has a lot to say. And, you know, I'm not going to say that I was cursed with a child exactly like me, because he's actually smarter than I am. And he knows that I think he's the smartest person in the room. There we go. I mean, it's not exactly the same as the other one, but it's close enough. I mean, yeah, close enough, right? I mean, if I don't like it, I can always take the stitching out later. I can always take the basting stitches out. There we go. But his kindergarten teacher retired the year after she had him. He now is a working young adult. And he says in the group chat the other day, FML, first grade teacher, came into the store and recognized me. He is 20 years old. And I looked at him when he got home and I said, son, my beloved son, you are unforgettable. All right. Now we have this. This is really going to drive me absolutely bonkers that this is not the same. That is going to absolutely drive me bonkers. I am going to have to take that out. I am going to have to take that out. Oh my God. I do not have OCD, but if I did, that would absolutely be the straw that broke the camel's back. Oh my goodness. All right, we're going to tie. Yeah. Take that out there. I'm going to draw that part in. I think what it is that the arm stuffing came too far out and it just wouldn't stay put. All right. There we go. Shove some more thread in there. So yeah. But he's such a great guy and very smart, and I see a lot of myself in him. So he's a very creative individual. He's a musician and an engineer. So here we go. We're going to get this in here. And he knows that I will never say anything about him to anyone else that I wouldn't say exactly to his face. So, there we go. And that's what we're going to do over here. So let's just pull that out. Let's see. Here we go. That's out. Alright. So now I'm just going to kind of make these stitches a little bit sharper, steeper angle towards that shoulder mark that I made, and continue on. So there we go. That's looking much better. Yeah, that angle is so much better. But yeah, I can remember there were books that I read about making doll houses. I remember one. So there's this one book that I really loved from the Orlando Public Library, and it was called Toys and Tales from Grandmother's Attic. And I still have it to this day. It's in my collection in the house somewhere. And it was a collection of antique toys from around the world. And I would check that book out so many times because it was so interesting. It gave me the ability to travel someplace I'd never been through the eyes and experiences of another child. Take that out. And just tie that in here. I think that should work. I just tie those two together. They're not going to come through the body. I'll just leave those threads. There. All right, so then, yeah, that's better. And then there was this one book about, it was so late 60s, early 70s. And it was about making dollhouses out of cardboard. And the designs were like avocado green and yellow and orange. And it was like so 70s, in like just absolute 70s goodness. And I'm trying to think. I read a lot of Encyclopedia Brown. I read all of the Rescuers books. I don't know if you know this, but the Rescuers was an actual series of books. So good. And then I read like 15 different versions of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. I think by the time I was 10 or 11, I read the William and Mary Complete Works of William Shakespeare. I didn't understand 99% of what I was reading, because Shakespeare. But it was like I was being exposed to literature. All right, there we go. All right, now we have arms, we got legs, we got a body. Body, yaddy, yaddy. So now, preparing the head. Mark the bottom ring of the head below each ear with a pin. Okay, this seems like overkill. I literally can see the ears. I don't need to put a pin. Like, come on. Like, how hard is that? I will use my pencil and I will make a line parallel with the ears. Let's see. The back of the ear. I'll go. All right. All right, baby. Here we go. We're gonna go right straight through the middle of said ears. I think that's gonna look good. All right. Position the head inside. Turn the body inside out. Inside out. Position the head inside the body. All right, let's see. That's the front. Oh, this is going to be fun. I think the face goes this way. No, if I put her that way. Okay, face goes this way, I think. All right. Position the head inside the body. Insert the bottom ring of the head through the neck slot, matching the marks on the neck ring to the ends of the neck slot. The face should be next to the body front. Body front. Is that the body front? Okay. There we go. There's not a whole lot of room for your head in here. All right, so that's the... Okay, that's the body front. All right, so now we have... there we go. There we go. All right. Place the fabric edge of the neck slot along the bottom outside edge of the neck ring. Oh, I see what they want to do. I see what they want me to do. What they want me to do, these instructions are... Now remember, I did this when I was like 8. This is not my first rodeo. But these instructions are not super duper. So what they want is to have this fabric along the edge of the ring, right? So here we are. Gently, 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 20. All right, so this is what we're talking about. So you see how there's fabric up along the edge? This one's sliding down. Like, it wants the fabric to be along the edge of the flange here. So that we glue that, then double thread a needle with 60 inches and knot ends, backstitch around the groove neck slot through the marked hole indentations. You have got to be flipping kidding me. What in the hell are we talking about? You want me to sew through? They want me to sew through these holes. I think this is why my dad gave me a zip tie. I think I have zip ties. Hold, please. All right, let's see. Zip ties, where art thou? Are you in this? Where are you? Yes, ma'am. I am firmly in the work smarter, not harder camp. I worked with a friend to help her build her first corset for the Ren Fair a couple years ago. And we made corsets out of zip ties. Corset stays out of zip ties. So, my little friend, we are going to use a zip tie because I am not about trying to sew through a plastic head. That is not going to happen. So let's see. That's the back of the baby. This is the front of the baby. We're gonna put the front of the face towards the front. Now see, the correct instructions should have been: put your hand up the rear of the doll, grasp the flange of the neck firmly in one hand, and pull. See, that would have made sense. So now I just want to make sure that I've got her head where I want it on the body. Like so. Like a Muppet. Alright, so there we go. Do. Grasp. Invert. And then I will take this. Now see, technically, you wouldn't even have had to open that hole, and then you wouldn't have had to put any stuff in the head, but here we go. All right. Now, which way does this thing go? I know, we'll test it this way. Okay. See, that's the back of the head. We're going to do it that way. Looky there, looky there. Going to have a abbreviated neck, I think. But let me just clip this. Lordy, that is a tight one. I probably should have got my toolkit, but my toolkit got taken in the house. All right. Hello, dear. How are you feeling today? Ta-da! Now, see, I remember that the zip tie my daddy used was a whole lot thinner. She now has this big growth on the back of her neck. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. In fact, but you know what? I think I'm going to leave the zip tie in place for just a second. And I'm going to use the E6000 to Glue. That's what I'm talking. Yeah, glue. Seriously? Are we doing this right now? Is this what we're doing? Come on now. I know that there's glue in here. Are you coming out? Are you coming out? I'm going to come out and play with me. Of course it would be dried up, wouldn't it? No? I mean, it doesn't feel dried up. I mean, it's smushing on the inside. Are you dried? Is that? No, that's a pen, not a glue. I have another tube of Gorilla Glue somewhere in here, but I don't know where it is in here. My studio is an absolute, I won't say sty, because it's controlled chaos. It's a work in progress. It always is. I feel like there's like this huge chunk of something that is prohibiting it from doing what it needs to do. I have Tamiya model glue, but that's not going to help. I have jewelry glue. That's not going to help. Those are both within reach. Come on now. I have nail glue. That's not going to work either. Yeah. Oh, are we having some luck here? I can smell E6000 now, which means that something is moving. Okay, a big chunk of something came out. And it's not quite dried up, so that's reassuring. Take that off of there. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of thick, but I think I can get just enough out of the tube once I get it moving. I think I can get enough out so that I can just... So the plan here is I am not sewing through plastic. Like, that is just not going to happen. I am not doing that. I think that that's overkill. And I know that my hands won't be able to do it. That really, I mean, in all honesty, I have trigger finger in my right hand, and I know that if I try and jab pointy thing through hard plastic, I'm going to injure myself. And so I don't want to do that. All right. If I were, hello, Jean. If I were my glue, I wonder if it's on my table over there. I feel like that was my hip that just cracked. All right. Let me put my thinking cap on for just a moment. And there's my jewelry glue. Let's see. You can hear my voice still. I'm still here. I'm not leaving. But I am going to try and find my glue. Oh, I know. I have other... Oh! I have glue. Tacky glue. PVA glue. All right. There we go. Found more glue. It's in a different place. Oh, this is glue I've never even used. Why do I have tacky glue? Yeah, it's a type of PVA glue. It's basically this and Elmer's Glue All are... Okay, this glue is still good. It's just dry. The thing is dry. So, and then this one's never even been opened. So I will just do this. That was going to be funny. Right. I'm going to take this tacky glue. I actually do not like tacky glue. I have never liked tacky glue, so I'm kind of surprised I actually have it. What I'm doing that you can't really see, and I will show you, is I'm taking some tacky glue from inside here, and I'm going into the neck, like right around where the fabric is attaching to the neck here, and I'm putting it under the fabric and just smearing it around and then pressing it down from the top so that the glue will smush through the fabric. I have never, ever, ever liked this brand of quote-unquote tacky glue. When I taught classes at a craft store, this was one of the supplies for the Elsa, the Frozen. Golly, that was so long ago. We had to make a cape for Frozen, and we glued on the embellishments with this tacky glue, and my students could never, like, their projects never dried. Like, I do not know what the problem is with the glue, but I can remember from the longest time when I was a kid never liking it because it just never felt like it dried. So we all have our favorite supplies and procedures and what have yous, and mine was that I absolutely hated this product, and yet it is the be all end all, or was, like, it is still insanely popular to this day in the craft store. And I have hated it for 40 years. I don't know how they're still in business because it doesn't work, in my experience. So now I'm supposed to let this dry. And what is this? The instructions on this bottle say, all-purpose glue for crafts, hobbies, and household repairs. Ultra strong, dries clear, non-toxic. Always test for best results. Squeeze onto surface. Press pieces together. Water cleanup. Not intended for washable wearables. Yeah. So it doesn't tell me how long it's supposed to take to dry. It doesn't tell me how long my open time is. So we're just gonna go with that. Now, you're supposed to sew all the way around this thing. And I'm going to leave the... Actually, I'm not going to. I was going to, but now I'm not. I'm going to snip the... Oh, that does not want to come off. The... There we go. Because I didn't put it on all the way tight. So, I took off the thing there. That thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this fabric out just a little bit. And then to give her a little bit more of a neck. And I'm going to take the stuff. The thread. And I'm going to tie it around. I think that's what I'm going to do. To give her a narrower indent in the neck. Let's see how that works. We're just gonna roll with it here, I think. All right, and then I'm gonna just put that end in the glue and go, yeah, that's where you're gonna stay. Just adhere to the glue. Maybe it's because I don't like the feeling of tacky glue on my fingers. It's a sensory thing. All of my neurodivergent people will absolutely understand what I am talking about. It's the bad texture. All right, so here we go. I'm going to just wrap this around. Okay, I only have but 2 hands here. Listen, Linda. Oh, got more like glue on my fingers and I don't like it. All right, I'm going to tie this end now that I've wrapped it around a couple times. Okay. What's the probability of this thing coming off? I'm going to say pretty low. Pretty low, but you know what? I'm going to wrap it around a couple more times just to be on the safe side and kind of make it tight. There we go. And then I wonder if they've made more of these, like if this was something that they kept making for a while, or if it was just something that died out after a while. All right, so now we have a head on a body. See, her neck looks so much better now. You can tell that her neck looks so much better. All right, so now it is time to stuff the doll, and it says to put stuffing in the head so that it doesn't migrate. Now see, this is where I would have left the neck solid. Like I would have, instead of cutting that strip at the beginning, I would have left it completely solid and then just sewn all the way around and then tie. But it is what it is. So, oh, sorry, Jean. I'm going to take this big glob of stuffing and put it down in the head. And I dislike the tacky glue because it's still tacky and I don't want it to get on the body because you can't wash it. So here we go. We're going to go down, 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 down. The head is nice and firmly stuffed. And now we're going to, we've done all that. Glue around the neck ring, top of the bubble, how many, this seems like a waste of time. It is not a waste of time. Keep your fabric from running and we'll keep it in place while you attach the head. I have done that. Turn the body right side out. Stuff a generous amount of fiber fill into the head. We just did that. So when your baby is hugged, it won't migrate. Stuff the body so that it measures 18 inches around the tummy. Okay. Let's do it. We are now a right side out doll, which I'm going to continue to hold that like that because I really don't want that glue to get anywhere. Dislike. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stuff that up by the neck because then that will help deal with that glue situation that I'm really not a fan of. And then we'll get to, now I'm really hating those basting stitches, like loathing. Like loathing. Like Glinda level loathing. So they're going to have to come out. I just cannot. I cannot even. So, I'm trying to follow the instructions. I really am. I'm trying to follow the rules and do it exactly like it says for science, but I just can't. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way it holds in my hands. So, just go. Bye-bye. Oh, that's so much better. So much better. There we go. Take that out. Release the Kraken, or at least the shoulders. All right, that arm is better. There's something funky going on over there. What is going on? All right, we're going to take that and What in the heck is going on here? Okay, I cannot see even with my glasses. All right, I see that there's a stitch there. Okay, this must be where I really got it situated down on the inside. What we're going to do is we're just going to... My worry with these really great scissors is that I'm going to put a hole into the doll. That's really my biggest fear, is that I'm going to... They're so sharp that they're going to accidentally nick the doll, and then I will have a sad. So, there we go. That's much better. All right, now I'm going to set a few up there. I just like the way that it was done before. All right, so let me fix this one. See, I know that it doesn't look great right now because I took all of her stitching out on this side. But I just don't like the way it looks over here. It makes her look like a linebacker. And we don't do that. She's supposed to look cute and cuddly and soft and squishable. And that's not it. There we go. Take that out. Take that out. Bye-bye basting stitches. See you later, alligator. Alright. And I was being so good at following the directions. Oh, no good deed goes unpunished, I suppose. Alright. That's done. Because I figure I can always, once she is fully stuffed, I can come back and restuff and mush around the stuffing in such a way that it'll look better. So we're going to put the stuffing in there, stuffing in there. We're going to get that body stuffed. There we go. Let's get some more. Big wads of stuffing. Oh. Okay. There we go. I have mountains of fluff, and they are going to go upside this doll. So now the big deal with these dolls and the other ones from the produce section was that you adopted them and you gave them a name, and so I'm thinking about, what do I call this doll? Don't know. If anybody has any suggestions, please feel free to drop them in the comment box. I am all ears. All right, let's see. Listen here. We're looking like a little bit like a stuffed turkey. Just a wee bit. Let's see. Let's measure around the body and see what we got. To the back. We are at 19.5 inches. All right. I don't know why, but just squish it down a little bit. Hey! Yay! What are we doing? That was a big ball of fluff that came out. Alright, I don't know why it said 16 ounces of polyfill, because we didn't even use, but maybe, like this 20-ounce bag, if I used 10 ounces of fiberfill, I would be quite shocked, honestly. Let's measure again after we have just reduced the amount of polyfill in there. Let's see. All right, my dear, time for your check-in. We're at 18.5, but I feel like by the time I get you all situated, you'll be fine. All right, so we're gonna just, we don't need this much We'll put this back in the bag for another project for another day, because I am sure we will do another crafting project that requires stuffing. Don't know when, don't know what, but we will. All right, so then we turn the bottom edge of the back under 1/2 inch and whip stitch to the front of the body. Okay. So that is the part that we're going to whip stitch this, turn under 1/2 inch, and then whip stitch all the way around there. And let's see, there's my needle, there's my thread. Holy cats, there we go. All right, the pencil's trying to escape. All right, that's cut off. Do 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 do. There we are. I surely wish that I had my top-down camera so you could see what was happening actually on my desk rather than just me yapping at you. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with here. Actually, I think I'm going to start on the side opposite the tag over here and just follow the directions and whip stitch, and I'm going to hold it, I guess. Can you see what I'm doing? Let me see. Let me open my screen here and see if we can see what it looks like here. All right, let's see. Can you see this? All right. All right, if I prop this up here, you'll be able to see, but then I won't be able to. All right, there we go. Close enough. All right, so we're gonna start over here, fold this under, and then you fold the leg bit in, and you've got your basting stitches there, and that's okay. I'm just going to hide them on the inside, and then you take your needle and put it in like so. And again, this isn't a tutorial. This is really just a, I'm going to craft, you're going to watch, and leave me snarky comments if you want to. Really? Is that what we're doing today? That is not, okay, this is, I'm not having it. All right, there we go. Oh, I just stabbed myself with a needle. Isn't that lovely? All right, so here we go. We're just gonna whip stitch around the bottom. So I remember telling you that I started my first hand sewing when I was around 4 years old. I think I got my first sewing machine for Christmas that year. I'm pretty sure. It was one of those little hand crank jobs, you know, like it wasn't, it was a little red sewing machine. It wasn't a like a battery operated. I think it might have been battery operated, but it also had a hand crank. So, oh, we're not doing this. We are not tangling up our threads. We are not. No, no, no. We are not doing that. But I do remember being really, really young, getting my first, like, toy sewing machine. And I was at my Nana's house. Nana would be my maternal grandmother's house. It was my Nana. My dad's mom was Grandma. My mom's grandmother was Mama. So, okay. Let's see, what are we doing? Come on. Come on, we're not going to get tangly. Oh, yay, we are not going to get tangly. All right. There we go. But yeah, at Nana's house, I had my little tiny sewing machine, and I would make Barbie doll clothes, using, it was basically, I think, a chain stitch machine. So you had to be really, really careful when making stuff. Otherwise the stitches would come out. All right, here we go. And I think I might have been about 7 when my grandma, my dad's mom, came down from New York to Florida and to stay with us. And she brought her sewing machine. And her sewing machine was a Singer Athena 2000. So I had to have been about 7 because I think it was a 1979 machine. So that would have been about right. And she made me Barbie blankets and clothes and let me use her sewing machine. My mother almost had a coronary because, you know, you don't let little children use a computerized sewing machine. Like, no, they'll run over their fingers and sew through their hand. And I never did. I think because I had been taught how to use it and respect it for being the piece of equipment that it was. Like, it was a huge privilege to be able to use Grandma's machine. And I actually inherited it when she passed away. So I still have it. It still works. It is... I just need to have the feed dogs replaced because they were plastic feed dogs. And so the plastic feed dogs, they get worn down over time. But yeah, that was, I learned to sew on a real machine when I was 7. But I still had my little chain stitch machine. I sewed so many produce department dolls, clothes. I sewed Barbie doll clothes, Darcy clothes. And then eventually I tried, but I think I stopped sewing Barbie clothes. No, I think I did sew Barbie. Gem and the Holograms clothes as well. But I would have been a little bit older at that point, and I would be hand sewing because I didn't have the little sewing machine anymore. And eventually I'm going to do a series on here called Will It Sew? And it's all about can you make things that last using either a child sewing machine or a very low-end sewing machine. You know, don't think of it as a sewing machine review. Let's not think of it that way, but more of a can you get by with this machine? And I'm excited to do that because I have a bunch of different machines that I've been getting over the years that I've been stockpiling. And I remember my kid machine actually worked really, really well for sewing Barbie clothes. I have not sewn Barbie clothes on my Bernina yet, which is weird considering that I've had my Bernina for 15 years and I love it. It is my workhorse machine. But yeah, so I'm excited to go through that. Oh, let's see what we have here. Okay, I'm trying to stitch the bottom of this doll up and think at the same time. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I am excited that I'm going to continue the Sew Through the Century series that I started back in 2020. I forget which decade we're on at this point. A lot has happened in my life. And if we want to talk about it now, I guess we can. I mean, there's nothing stopping us. Oh, why do I have OBS open full on my thing? I can't see my streams. Okay. I really wish this chat window on YouTube would like go away. Like okay, I don't need that. Because it's blocking my entire stream. I can't see it. All I see is this chat window and there's nothing in the chat and I just wish I could close it. But yeah, we can talk about life and you know, all of the things that have gone on to a point. I am so excited that I am in my studio. I've been in my studio for a couple of years now, but life kind of got in the way of being able to be creative. And I had an auto accident and I was severely injured in my neck and back. and there were work issues and just a bunch of stuff that happened over the last couple of years that meant that the channel kind of took a back seat to getting on with life. So, you know, yeah, it is what it is, as they say. But yeah, some fun stuff about me that people might not know if you're new, or even if you're been around the channel for a while. So one of the things that happened around the time that I started thinking about doing a little bit, I won't say a rebrand of the channel. Well, yeah, I will say it's a rebrand. So I was thinking about kind of expanding the scope of the channel. And I was thinking, oh, you know, I have all these fandoms that I really, really love and enjoy. And I feel like the current, how shall I say, the current focus of the channel really wasn't speaking to who I was fully, right? It was one tiny segment of who I was, and it didn't allow me to be as fully creative as I wanted to be on the channel. And so that's when I really started thinking, oh, I really want to kind of branch out a little bit and create something even more spectacular and really, you know, embrace all of the fun stuff that I want to do. And I really couldn't see it in my mind of, oh, well, if I want to do that, then I need to just do another channel, start another channel, yet another channel, when this one isn't really where I want it to be. And so I just kind of was like, all right, I'm going to let it sit and simmer for a while. And I went for a while, and I really was struggling because at one point, you know, I had introduced myself as a content creator, and then here I am, I'm not making any content, and I felt like such a fraud. Which, I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, and we all suffer, I think, a little bit with imposter syndrome, you know? And if I one more time, I'm going to smack my own self. So I really needed to get back to what inspired me. And I had all these projects that were laying around my studio, not quite done. And how did I get a knot in there? No. I will never understand how thread ends up knotted when it's not able to knot itself. Like, how do you do that? What kind of sorcery is this? It's like the most annoying kind. All right, come on. Are you serious right now? Is this what we're doing? Ugh. All right, fine. We'll tie it off, and I will get another piece of thread, and this is wasting thread, and I don't like wasting resources. Anyway. There we go, that's tied off. So here I am with my imposter syndrome, thinking I really need to do something with my channel. I really need to do something with my channel. I'm struggling to feel creative. I'm struggling to be creative. And in the meantime, I've been watching so many different kinds of content, just consuming all kinds of different stuff and learning and growing as a human. And that's great. I mean, we should all be learning and growing, and every day we should learn something new. I firmly believe that. I think if we're not learning, we're dying. And so here we are, a little bit of a rebrand. Well, I mean, kind of a lot of a rebrand, because how do you go from being the queen of vintage to Daydream frequency and it be, yeah, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. I don't even know how to explain that. It's, I feel like it's about more about nostalgia than vintage. Let's put it that way. I love vintage. I really, really do. But I feel like there's so much more to me than that. Do I live in a historic era home? Yes, I do. I live in a 1920s bungalow. My house is the oldest house on the street. It was built in 1925. It is over 100 years old. Still has all the original windows. And in Florida, that is not an easy feat because we got hurricanes. I'm working on the house little by little to make her a gloriously beautiful little jewel box on the inside. Because I live on the inside. I don't live in the outside of the house. But there is so much more to explore, and I feel like there's parts of my childhood that, look, Gen X, we are in our, I'm not going to say our golden years, because I think that's kind of dumb to say. We're not anywhere near retirement. Some of us still have kids in grade school, which is wild to me. Somebody asked me today if I had grandkids, and I looked at them like, I should hope not. My children are in their early 20s. They better not be bringing any grandbabies home. I am not in the mood. And thankfully, none of them are as well, which is great. But yeah, I feel like Gen X is finally being recognized in kind of a weird way. And there's a lot of nostalgia for what we grew up with and what we came of age with. And it's always fun to see the youngins discover things like the Walkman and Esprit. That's the latest one. I remember being too poor to afford that. The only Esprit I got was from the thrift store. But yeah, I think there's a sense of nostalgia, and Daydream Frequency really is kind of embracing the nostalgia for all of the eras that were important to me personally. And I have told other people, and I'm not sure if I said it online here before, but I grew up in a room that had like 1920s linens and decorations. Like, that was, vintage has always been my thing since I was a preteen. So, all right, there we go. We are right and tight. Done sewing the butt of the doll. Now we are fully encased. Yes. All right. Hands and arms. Begin with the thumb on the right hand. Unless you'd like your baby to be left-handed, then you begin with... This is one of Martha's tips. Begin with the thumb on the right hand. Unless you'd like your baby to be left-handed, then you'd begin with the left. Just kidding. I need a moment. Okay. So here we are. We have gotten the baby completely... She's done. And I don't remember them looking like pillows back in the day. I feel like this body is just not doing it for me. So let's see what we can do about fixing her shoulders. Let's see what we can do about fixing the shoulders. Because literally it says... Yeah, I didn't like the way it looked before, and now I like it even less, and I'm conflicted. And then we have to go on and sculpt the remainder of the baby, but it is getting to be a little long in the tooth here. We've been streaming for almost 2 hours. I think what we'll do tonight is I'm going to knot my thread, leave it on my desk, and we're going to say, no, I cannot finish a doll in one sitting because I am now very tired. It has been a very long day. I got up this morning early and I was shooting at a church service this morning. And I feel like this is one of those situations where if I continue, I will make mistakes. And I don't want to make mistakes, but I really like the fact that she is 80% done or 75% done. And she's cute and she's adorable, and we'll think about a name for her. How about that? So I am going to say thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight and spending time while we attempt to make a whole doll. And technically, we did make a whole doll. We just haven't done the details on the whole doll. And I feel like the sculpting of the doll, because there's the completing the doll baby and then the sculpting of the doll baby. So technically, the sculpting will be part 2. And if you have suggestions for names, please drop them in the comments, or you can go to, what is my Instagram again? Daydream_frequency. Daydream_frequency at Instagram. And you can comment what name you think the doll baby should have. And then next Saturday, is it next Saturday? Will I be able to next Saturday? Yes, next Saturday evening, or maybe Saturday afternoon. I might come on a little earlier and we'll sculpt the doll together, and then wait, I've got polyfill in my mouth. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. So next week we will sculpt the doll, and I will fix these linebacker pillow shoulders and do something to make her look a little bit less like a letter T and more like a doll. And we'll get together next week. Can't promise you what time, but I definitely think it'll be in the afternoon. Probably, let's see, it's almost 9 p.m. Eastern, so maybe about 6 o'clock rather than 7 o'clock. So we'll start an hour earlier, and that'll give us 3 hours to sculpt the doll baby, have a little chit chat, and you can help me name the doll baby next week. Bye! Now, how do I turn this thing off? And